Let's do it.
In this video, you'll see some overhead MIG welding, testing two different settings to see how they look as well as how well they penetrated. And one of the ways to do that is with a cut and etch test. Let's get right to it. It's always good to snip the excess wire before you start a weld. Generally, you'll get a lot better arc starts that way. Another thing to do is kind of check the nozzle, make sure it's clean. One of the most important things about overhead MIG welding is just getting comfortable. Just figuring out a way that you can be comfortable for the whole joint. You want to get rid of mill scale. You want to hold a tight stick out. That's the distance from the arc to the contact tip. And I'm pausing here at the very top. You see I'm pausing longer at the top and sweeping over the bottom. I'm trying to, right here, I'm trying to play that arc up toward the front of the puddle because I could see it looked like it wasn't quite getting in there. We'll take another look at it in just a second. The settings that I'm using here are recommended for 1/8 inch steel, and I'm welding 1/4 inch steel. And I'm plugged into 115 volt too, so I'm kind of limited on how hot I can go, but I just wanted to see if these settings would work if I played the arc up there on the front of the puddle. We'll find out. Well, let's take a look at that and see how we did. It's got a little bit of crown on it, a little more than I would like. These are the settings: 18 volts, 236 inches a minute with 035 wire. I'll show all the settings at the end. Just got just a little bit more of a crown than I would like, so we're going to trim the settings back down a little bit. We're going to go down to 200 inches a minute. We're going to keep it at 18 volts. We're going to let it cool off first. The reason I say let it cool off because I'm just going to weld the back side of this tee. So now it's actually got a little bit more metal on it, but I needed to let it cool off to not skew the results a whole lot. So I'm going to be using roughly the same technique here, where I'm pausing a little bit longer at the top of the bead, sweeping down at the bottom, trying to keep the arc up toward the front of the puddle. With short circuit MIG, if you hang back in the puddle and don't play the arc at the front, the leading edge of the puddle, you can have problems. You can have cold lap, lack of fusion, especially if there's any mill scale to deal with. So you want a good ground, you want to keep that stick out short, play the arc up toward the front of the puddle, and I'm pausing a little bit longer at the top. And those are some of the keys to getting a decent overhead MIG weld with short circuit MIG. Let's take a look at that one now. It did look a little bit better, but did it penetrate? That's the question. That's the main thing. So one way to test for penetration is a cross-section test, also called a macro etch test or a cut and etch test. The one on the left is the hotter one with the higher wire feed speed, and it makes sense because it's crowned up. And then the one on the right is more flat across the face, less wire feed speed, and I was probably actually thinking about trying to flatten it out more, so maybe my technique and travel speed made a difference there too. But both of them don't exhibit any real obvious lack of fusion. Both of them kind of got in there. They both kind of hit the root. Sometimes you have to play the light on these surfaces to really see what's going on. So I'll get a flashlight and I'll shine it from this angle or that angle, and usually you can do something and it highlights what you need to see. But I don't see anything obviously wrong there. And those are all the settings on each side. I'm impressed with this machine. I think it's a great value, especially since it comes with a spool gun and all the other stuff. So I went ahead and added it to my online store at weldmonger.com. I have several more videos planned with this machine,